There is an island that cost $12 billion to build from sand dredged off the floor of the Persian Gulf. It took 6 years and 94 million cubic meters of material to create it. It required a fleet of specialist ships working 24 hours a day, a breakwater of 7 million tons of rock, and engineering so precisely executed that scientists confirmed it had changed the water temperature and spectral profile of the surrounding sea. When it was finished, it was shaped like a palm tree visible from space, and it contained the most expensive residential real estate in the Middle East, a neighborhood on its fronds called Billionaires Row, where ultra-prime villas traded above 100 million dirhams and select properties exceeded 300 million dirhams, where the most expensive single villa sold for $163 million in 2022. And that was not even the ceiling, and where the total property value on the island had generated over $50 billion in transactions since the first sales began. This was the crown of Dubai. The ultimate proof that an emirate with no oil of its own had manufactured something more valuable than oil. The perception that the safest place on earth for the world's money was a man-made island in the Persian Gulf. It attracted 237 centimillionaires and 20 billionaires. It attracted the Russian oligarchs fleeing sanctions, the Indian family offices diversifying out of Mumbai, the British hedge fund managers escaping tax reform, the crypto billionaires looking for a jurisdiction that would not question their wealth. They came and they bought on the Palm. And then, on February 28, 2026, an Iranian drone struck the Fairmont Palm Hotel. And everything they had built their understanding of safety around turned out to be something that they had been sold, not something that existed. The collapse of value on the Palm Jumeirah is not primarily a story about property prices. It is a story about what happened when the single idea that made $50 billion worth of real estate transactions possible turned out to be wrong. Stay with me, because the specific mechanism by which Billionaires Row collapses is different from how ordinary property markets correct, and understanding that difference tells you something that the real estate agents who are currently marketing these distressed deals for 10 to 35% below market value do not want you to know. Ordinary property markets correct because of supply and demand imbalances, because of interest rate changes, because of economic slowdowns. Palm Jumeirah does not operate by ordinary property market rules. It operates by what economists call the premium sanctuary premium, the specific markup that wealthy buyers pay for the psychological certainty that a location is immune to the threats that affect everywhere else. London's Kensington Palace Gardens commands its prices not primarily because the apartments are larger or the architecture more beautiful than apartments elsewhere in London, but because Kensington Palace Gardens carries a specific social meaning about permanence and security and arrival that cheaper properties do not carry. New York's 57th Street Billionaires Row commands its prices for the same reason. Palm Jumeirah's Front G earned its comparison to those addresses not because the Gulf is inherently safer than London or New York, but because Dubai spent 25 years constructing a narrative of neutral stability that made wealthy people believe that putting their money on the Palm was equivalent to putting it in a Swiss vault. The prices did not reflect the quality of the product, they reflected the strength of the belief. And beliefs reprice much faster than bricks. Goldman Sachs analysts estimated that real estate transaction volumes in the UAE fell 37% year-on-year in the first 12 days of March 2026 alone, and 49% month-on-month. Reuters reviewed messages on a WhatsApp group created a week into the war and found an off-plan unit on the Palm being offered at a 15% discount to its original $2 million price. Himanshu Khandelwal, CEO of Dubai-based investment firm Asas Capital, described Emirati clients and Indian family offices calling his firm and saying, "We are ready to buy at distress if you have clients who want to sell at a discount." That statement, "buyers ready to buy at distress," is the most important sentence in this story. Let that sink in for a moment. The buyers who are now ready to purchase at distressed prices are people who understand that the sellers need to exit faster than the market can accommodate them at full price. That is not a market correction. That is the beginning of a price belief renegotiation, and price belief renegotiations on sanctuary premium assets do not resolve in weeks. This video is just the surface. Everything I collected is in the vault. The full 2026 transaction data for the Palm, The Goldman Sachs volume analysis, the complete breakdown of the sanctuary premium mechanism and its historical collapses in other markets, the UBS bubble risk ranking that put Dubai fifth globally before the war began, the Fitch 15% correction forecast, the full Reuters WhatsApp evidence trail from distressed Palm sellers, and the capital flight route analysis showing where the billionaire money is going after Dubai. Over 160 guides. One place. Link in the description. But stay here, because the history of what happened to the last two times a Billionaires row lost its sanctuary premium is the part that explains why the current discounts of 10 to 35% are not the bottom. In 2008, when Dubai's first property crash arrived, Palm Jumeirah villa prices fell 60% from peak to trough over approximately 3 years. 60%, not 15, not 35, 60. A villa that sold at the peak for $10 million was available for $4 million in 2010. The market took 6 years to recover. The developers who had financed construction through bond issuances defaulted. Nakheel, the state-owned developer of the Palm, required a $14.6 billion government bailout in 2009 and a $16 billion debt restructuring to survive. Dubai's economy contracted sharply, and at the time, there was no war. There was only a global financial crisis and the realization that the demand for Dubai real estate had been partly driven by speculation rather than genuine fundamental value, and that the sanctuary premium had been inflated to a level that the underlying asset could not support when the belief faded. Now there is a war. A war in which an Iranian drone actually struck the most iconic hotel on the Palm, the Fairmont, and debris from another downed drone actually set fire to the Burj Al Arab. These are not near misses. These are direct hits on the two most famous luxury properties in the most expensive neighborhood in Dubai. The academic at Rice University's Baker Institute, Jim Crane, stated it directly. The US-Israel war on Iran is upending the crucial aura of security in Dubai. Dubai's economic model is based on expatriate residents providing the brains, brawn, and investment capital. You need stability and security to bring in smart foreigners. He did not say Dubai is finished. He said the crucial aura is being upended, and it is the aura, not the infrastructure, not the tax policy, not the golden visa program, that justified Billionaires row prices. Property prices are down approximately 4 to 5% as of March 2026 in physical transaction data, according to industry estimates. But real estate agency Sherwood's, which has an active DLD-verified pipeline of distress deals, is describing discounts of 20 to 35% on the Palm in their own listing materials right now. Both numbers exist simultaneously because the official market price, the registered transaction price, reflects the last willing buyer. The distress discount reflects the price at which a motivated seller who needs to exit immediately will trade, and the gap between those two numbers, 4 to 5% versus 20 to 35%, is the measure of the sanctuary premium collapsing in real time. Now, I need to be honest with you, because the evidence requires it. The 2008 collapse did not permanently destroy the Palm. The Palm recovered. Between 2021 and early 2026, prices rose 60% from the post-crash floor, and the island generated $3.2 billion in resale transactions in just the 12 months from December 2024 to November 2025 alone. That is not nothing. That is extraordinary demonstrated demand. The buyers who bought during the 2008 crash and held through the recovery made exceptional returns. Real estate agents who are currently marketing those 20 to 35% distress deals are correctly pointing to that history as evidence that the buying opportunity is real. They are not wrong that Dubai has recovered before. They are also not wrong that cash-rich buyers with long investment horizons stand to benefit. What they are not saying, what the promotional apparatus of Dubai's property industry structurally cannot say, is that the sanctuary premium itself has been permanently altered by the specific facts of March 2026. Before February 28th, the narrative was that Dubai was different, not just more stable than other Middle East cities, but categorically immune. The strikes did not create a new truth. They revealed an old one. The Palm was always physically located in the Persian Gulf, 200 kilometers from the Iranian coast, in a region where geopolitical risk had always been present and had been priced out of the asset values through narrative management rather than genuine immunity. The The drone that struck the Fairmont did not make the Palm more dangerous. It made the Palm's actual danger level legible for the first time to the people who had paid $163 million for a villa on the assumption that no such thing could ever happen. And once a belief has been falsified by a direct hit on the asset itself, the sanctuary premium does not simply pause and wait for the conflict to end. It reprices at a new equilibrium that reflects what people now know that they did not know before. The man who woke up on March 1st, 2026 to a WhatsApp alert showing drone smoke over his $20 million Palm villa is not primarily calculating whether the market will recover in 3 years. He is asking whether he should have paid $20 million to live in a place where he wakes up to drone smoke alerts. That calculation has only one rational outcome, and the distressed deals available right now on the world's most famous Billionaires row are the answer he arrived at. Subscribe and share this with someone who still thinks the Palm Jumeirah is the safest address on Earth because it used to be. The next vault opens soon. What is inside is even heavier.